All right, the circumference and arc length. In a circle, remember you have a radius, or all the way across is a diameter.
Yep.
Circumference is, you can write it as 2 pi r, or quicker is just pi times diameter. Does everyone know why these are the same?
Because the diameter is the whole
Diameter's
2 radiuses, 2 radii is the same as 1 diameter. Okay? An arc length is just the length along a circle from one spot to another spot. So circumference is all the way around, arc length is just part of a circle. So let's just say we had this, and they wanted to find, it would be written like that. The little m means measure, which means how long it is of the arc from A to B, and we'll just say the radius is 6 inches. So all the way around this circle, the circumference of that circle is pi times the diameter, which would be 12. Now I believe they tell us to use 3.14.
No.
No, I guess they don't.
Do we have to do the pi button? Crap.
You know, it's quicker, some calculators it's quicker just to hit the pi button. So you could do either one, I guess. The pi button is more accurate. These we just rounded a tenth. So this is 37.699, so we would just round it to 37.7 inches around. But don't round it yet on your calculator, because we don't want to know all the way around, we just want to know this part, from here to here. Now in order to figure that out, we do need to know how many degrees this angle is here. So that looks like it's about, we'll say 75.
I'd say so.
Okay? So what fraction of the circle is this?
Fifth.
Mackenzie said it, it's 75 3/60ths.
Oh, dang.
Okay? Because all the way around is 360. If they ask for the whole circle, it's 360 out of 360, which is 1 times this. But it's only 75 3/60ths. So you take this times 75 3/60ths. So here's where you're not going to want to round this. Figure this out, leave it on the calculator without rounding it, and then just go times 75 divided by 360. Then round at the end. So it's 7.85, which would be 7.9 inches. Okay? So does that make sense to find an arc length? So to find an arc length, all you do is take the fraction of the circle, whatever it is out of 360, times the entire circumference. Alright, so here all they're doing, some of the problems they just want the plain old circumference. So it's just pi times the diameter. The line goes all the way across, so that means that's the diameter. So pi times 25 is 78.5 centimeters. Just so you know this, sometimes, it's not in this one, but sometimes in the problems, they tell you to find this in terms of pi. And when you take like your MCA test, or you take ACT test next year too, don't you? They have a lot of problems where they just say leave it in terms of pi. That just means you don't multiply it. I would leave this answer as just 25 pi centimeters. This and this mean the same thing. It's just this is multiplied out and this is not. Well, only if they tell you leave in terms of pi, which we're not today. But if the directions say leave it in terms of pi, then you just leave it that way. In this class or on your test, ACT? ACT, it'd be wrong. Okay, So here it's backwards. They give us the circumference and they want the radius. So remember the formula, circumference is pi times diameter. So to figure out the diameter, you just divide by pi. So you take 70 divided by pi, and that'll give you the diameter.
And then you just divide that by 2.
And then you divide by 2, because they want the radius. So again, don't round this after you do it. Leave it on your calculator, and then divide by 2, and then round. It would be 11.1 feet. This formula, any formula that has just 3 letters in, can be put in the triangle. Circumference is pi times diameter. So if you're looking for circumference, you cover that up. They're next to each other, which means you take pi times diameter. If you're looking for diameter, you cover that up. So it's circumference divided by pi. And then obviously this is how they figured out what pi was. Pi is circumference divided by diameter. Every time.
Oh my gosh, Frankie.
So here we're finding the lengths of arc AB. So we find the whole circle, which is pi times the diameter, which would be 8. And then you take that times just this fraction, 73/60. So you can just do this all at once on your calculator. 70 divided by 360 times pi times 8. 4.88, so I'd round to 4.9 millimeters.
So this is it?
That's it. We would take pi times the diameter, which would be 14, times 100 3/60ths. So this one is 12.2 millimeters. So here this is 6, so the diameter is 12, so we take pi times 12 times 140 3/60ths.
Do it.
So that's 14.66, which is 14.7 millimeters. Okay?
Joe,
Yeah.
here's just that you can drum for him.
You got it.
All right, so we already did those. Okay, here we've got a problem with the tricycle. 2 different size tires. Shh, quiet.
You're stupid. Don't forget.
Mason, shut up.
Okay, this one has a 20-inch diameter, that one has a 16-inch diameter. How many revolutions does each tire make while traveling 250 feet? So what you got to do is figure out what is the circumference. So that's 20 times pi, and this one's 16 times pi.
What the heck, Cabrales?
What?
So it rounds
That's disgusting.
to 62.8 inches. It rolls. Yes. Now, this is in feet, so you want to convert this to inches. So that's 3,000 inches. So what do we do to figure out how many? You divide them. 3,000 divided by that. Now, to get it more exact, you could go, right, don't round it, go 3,000 divided by 20 pi. But now, since there's 2 things on the bottom, if you do it all at once, you gotta put those in parentheses. Otherwise, it's gonna take 3,000 divided by 20, figure that out, and then times pi. So 3,000 divided by parenthesis 20 times pi, parenthesis, then press equals. This one would take 47.7 revolutions. And then you do the same thing here. Take 3,000 divided by 16 pi. And this would take 59.7 revolutions. Okay,
Yep.
That's it?
there's one more type of problem I gotta show you.
Actually, that's kind of complicated. Also, that means I wreck some shit. Huh? He wrecks the B-word up. Right, do it, he wrecks the B-word up.
Okay,
I would say so.
this is one where they give you the arc length, they give you the angle, but they don't give you the radius. You gotta find the radius.
Just do pi times divided by circumference divided by pi.
We don't know the circumference.
You have to find.
You do take circumference divided by pi, but we gotta figure out the circumference.
Okay. Time out.
So, 83/60ths is this. So we gotta figure out what it is all the way around.
100, 200, no, 120.
So here's the formula. In order to figure out this thing, you took 83/60ths times pi times the diameter, right?
Yes.
And that turned out to equal, they got that?
Yeah.
So what you gotta do is get the diameter by itself and then divide by 2. What's the best way to get rid of a fraction?
Reciprocal.
Times the reciprocal. So take this times 360 over 80, and then what are you gonna do? And then divide by pi.
And that gives you.
So do all of that. So 24.6 times 360 divided by 80. Press equals, and then divide by pi. And then that's the diameter. So then you got to divide that by 2. 17.6. Okay. So there's a couple like that. Those are the tricky ones.